Welcome back to the Budding Entrepreneur.
Everyone who is doing our esports out there, we see you. Continue doing it. We'll continue to support you.
Yeah. DM me your location. We want to know where your shop is at so that we may get to engage or indulge with you some other time. As this continues, continue updating us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Kutv Budding Entrepreneur, so that we may get to sample what you thought about our conversation with S Pro Gaming. Welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur. This is Ans Fit-Out. I'm Vincent Odundo. Today we are talking issues to do with gaming. That's why Nix is not here. She doesn't like to play games. But I'm here today with Charles Payne, director and co-founder at S Pro Gaming. And he doesn't like calling it gaming as such. He prefers the term esport. Charles, why?
I will start by saying that the simplest definition of esports is that it's any sport that is played using video games. But the moment you start talking about gaming, then the first thing that comes to people's mind is gambling, of which I don't involve myself in gambling.
Interestingly. So let's talk about gaming. When was the first time you touched a device or a console with an intention of gaming?
Wow. I could go back all the way to brick games.
Those are old, but well.
Can you call that?
I played one
that's
of
a bit
those.
of that's primitive, yeah. But that's the earliest definition of when I can say that I touched my first game using a brick game. But since then we've evolved so much. We've gotten to the consoles, we've gotten to the PCs. Right now we are heading to the multiplayer games.
Right.
That's all PC.
Right.
So right now we are not in the primitive ages. We are in the League of Legends, the Overwatches, and that kind of games.
And in an interesting way, the older generation, people would call our parents right now, some of whom are watching this from home side, they term gaming as something that makes the young people hard-headed. They don't see it as an opportunity as you do.
Yes, and that's a very, very big misconception that we have about gaming, that we've faced it a lot in our industry. Right now, it's not yet not even in Kenya. Everywhere, esports is still not seen as a sport. People still let us a lazy games person, you know. Our early definition of someone who's doing it is someone who is seated down and just playing the console. But right now, in 20, as it stands right now, people are making money out of it. People are being employed to just be playing video games on behalf of other. You can actually, like now, in KU, it's possible for someone from here to get a scholarship to go to another country, go and play on behalf of the school simply because of gaming. So there is a very, very huge opportunity, and that's what we would like to showcase to the country.
Wouldn't that be really cool? Somebody paid for my airfare to just go play a game even. If you could take a photo of it. But for now, let's get into the business of it right now. And there are a lot of gaming parlors in every small town you go to. Every street has at least a corner where gamers go to, either in the day or, you mentioned, all the time. There are always people in those places. What does someone need to look out for when they want to start off such?
First of all, let's start by defining your target market. These are students, let's not call it students, but gaming lounges are full of people who are between 18 and around 35, which is actually the age that most of the people in esports are. So if you are looking for that target market, then the first thing that comes to your mind is somewhere that students are, which is somewhere like now in KU. People live around KU, people live around UN, people live around campuses. So that's the first thing that you get, that your target market is within those places. Then you of course need to get a good venue, depending on how many consoles, how many sessions you want to set up, and of course security. You don't want to invest all your money and the next day you're back.
When it comes to the marketing and branding of it, because I believe that makes every other thing stand out so much. I look at S Gaming. The first time I met you today at KUTV, I looked at your shirt and I could easily identify you. That means proper branding, and that means proper marketing as well, because people know about it. What does one need to do to give them an edge? Because the gaming industry is pretty competitive.
It's a very, very, very competitive industry, especially right now that everyone has seen the opportunity. New companies coming up every day, new gaming lounges are coming up every day. So if we are going to think on the basics, if you are in a gaming lounge, I would think that the best model that I've seen is from Trick Gaming. They've incorporated, besides the gaming experience, then you need to create an experience for me as a person why I would want to be there. There's virtual reality. There is also, I'm given food, I'm given drinks over there, you can actually purchase. So as a gamer, I don't want to go back to that definition from back in the day, but gamers usually like to sit down and someone is going to game for 16 hours, 14 hours. Right. So if I have all the convenient items for me, I have food, it's a good air conditioning place, and I think that's a good place. In terms of marketing, we are in the digital age. You only need to open a Facebook, Instagram, sponsored ads, attend events. Because right now, every other weekend, we have an event to do with esports. Yeah. Last weekend, we had an event. This weekend, we'll have an event. So you need to go out there and actually get to meet the actual gamers. Talk to them, tell them about your business. And that way, you're able to keep yourself in the loop.
When it comes to you've gotten your clientele, you've gotten your clients for the first time, okay. What do you do to make sure you retain them?
Competitive prices, one. Because right now there are so many lounges and competition is quite up. So you need to know how exactly other people pricing model. You need to keep yourself up to date with that so that you're able to remain competitive on that edge. And as I had mentioned previously, again, you need to give them an experience. Besides, when I'm not gaming, what else can I be doing within the lounge? Good music, good lighting. I want to see, there's virtual reality on that, and I can actually go and try something else. Besides gaming, I can also go there and dance and see myself on the screen, get marks for it. Basically, just create an experience that is unique to that to your place. Esports is quite wide. Don't limit yourself to just having a console and a station over there. Then you can create some other models besides whatever people are coming. Have a wide variety of games.
Starting a gaming business is pretty capital intensive, especially when it comes to purchasing all the consoles per se. Part of the reasons why you've mentioned security is pretty much important. Now when it comes to somebody counting their profits or losses in that, what should somebody look out for, and what sorts of period could one give to make sure, or at least to monitor if they've gotten back the money they invested or not?
As I had mentioned, the first thing that you need to do is, by the time you're starting your gaming parlor, you need to know your audience, because at the end of the day, the business, you're selling it to people. So if you're starting a gaming lounge, then once you have the target market, the next thing that you need to do is to look at your overhead costs. If the rent is too much, is it possible to get another option? One of the things that you're going to be paying too high is electricity, because remember that these machines are running on electricity at all times. Can you find alternatives? Is a generator going to work better for you more than paying for electricity?
Let me not find anyone calling me Ann out there. I'm Vincent Odundo for Ann's Fit Out. That's it for tonight.
Everything old is new again, with entrepreneurs who are strong enough and bold enough to start off every single day. From creating milk without cows, trucks without drivers, innovators are shaking up some of the stoogiest industries in the world. Welcome to The Young CEO, and tonight, on our Young CEO tonight, like we promised last Thursday, we're going to be hanging out with partners, but in this case, a partner from Stowelink, and well, he's going to tell us about pretty much what he does every day in his company, how he got to his company, and all that fun stuff about being an entrepreneur. So let's get right into it. Your name is Steven?
Ogweno.
Ogweno.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe tell us a bit about your success story.
Success story.
Yeah. Or do you consider yourself a success, or we're just like?
Yeah. I mean, yes. So Steven Ogweno is 20 years old now. 22.
Okay.
Yeah. Started off, well, the success story starts from way back, from primary school.
Yeah.
But I cut to the chase and talk to where it comes all into contact with the company. So in 2016, just after joining campus, I always had this drive to beat cancer. Cancer was very specific to me. How am I going to beat cancer? So when I got to campus and I wasn't selected to do medicine, I still wanted to fight cancer. Lucky enough, I got into the public health space, and that then would inspire how my life would look like from then on. So because of this strong desire to beat cancer, I started with a trial project. Being there with no resources, no money, no funding, nothing really. I decided to do one project. I wanted to feel the feeling of accomplishment of having done one thing, which has always been pressing me, from back then. So I did this one project called Project Alpha, and I used all of my savings into the project. So I came up with a company. Well, back then it was still not a company, but I came up with an organization name, and then I did a proposal for the project. I figured it all out. Then, yeah, we went and did the project. The project involved sensitization around breast and testicular cancers and prostate and cervical cancers. So during this project, because I had already spent like all of my savings into it, and we'd written proposals. We sent to like almost 2,000 organizations. Not even one replied to say, we've seen your proposal, we like it, we want to fund you. So because of this, I went back to the drawing board, and for me, we would now to think, how do I design a project to talk about this and create this sensitization, yet still be sustainable.
Yeah.
So inside the project, we began thinking creatively, and we started involving things like photography for cancer, poetry for cancer, and we started a movement back then called the Project Alpha Photoshoot, which happens like annually, and because of that, we were able to raise funds to actually help us do the first phase of Project Alpha. Now, when the project came to an end, we had managed to reach like 100 to 120,000 people, both online and offline, with messages on cancer. We visited various schools, we did training of trainers in Kenyatta University, and we're very privileged to have one partner then to come and help us do this training, because I didn't have the information on cancer and etc. I was just getting into it. So we had this organization, Santa Reva, come in and help us do the training. But at the end of the training, something interesting happened, that because of what we were able to do as a project, and of how we were able to raise funds to do this specific project, big media houses noticed, like the National Media Center noticed what we were able to do.
You have to agree with me, the show was quite interesting, yeah? Starting from, the startup businesses,
Right.
people in our segment for Street Biashara, yeah? Where people just wake up and decide to go after what they really want. I feel like that's really inspiring, and I hope you are inspired too, otherwise we wouldn't be in business,
Right.
What do you think was most interesting?
For me today, just the fact that we can sit down in 2019 and talk gaming, not as a pastime hobby, as a business, and
Yeah.
something that experts themselves term as a multi-billion-dollar industry globally. Kenya, you said in the introduction that it's just catching up now, and that means the much potential that we have as a nation, and even as young entrepreneurs who want to indulge.
Definitely. And on our young CEO, totally mind blown. Those are university students pretty much doing the most with their lives. So every other single day we get to ask you, what are you doing with your life? Are you following your dreams? Are you setting out the goals for yourself? At least, because we're already, 6 months into 2019?
Hi. It's ending. We had our goals, we had our resolutions.
Yeah.
And
Now we are saying Merry Christmas.
That's all for tonight. I'm Vincent Odundo.
And I'm Nixie Ann. Have a good night.
Have a good night, and on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Kutv Budding Entrepreneur.